Final tip of the night, Adam. What is it?
To make homework more effective, integrate it with classwork.
Yeah, this intrigues me. Go on, tell me what you mean by this.
So I said at the beginning that I'm the education director at Carousel Learning, which is it's not a homework platform. It's an online quizzing platform, and I've been thinking very, very hard for about a year and a half now about homework, and I think the majority of homework doesn't work. Yeah, I think most schools, most departments, most teachers are like, yeah, I set homework, but like, it's just a nothing. And I think there's a few reasons for that. I think the two main reasons are accountability and value. So accountability is, whether the students are held to account for their homework performance. And that can range from a kid who doesn't do their homework. Do they get a consequence? Is there a follow-up? Normally, no, there's not. But it can range up to the quality of their homework as well. Yeah, a kid turns up, you've set them 10 questions at home, they've done the first two. Oh, so I didn't understand the rest. Yeah, I mean, what do you mean you didn't understand the rest? Well, I couldn't do question 3. And what about question 4? Oh, what do you mean? I couldn't do question 3. What about question... Right? So that happens a lot, and there's accountability there. But also, who's going to give attention for that? Yeah, because... they've done the homework. They're just gonna resent you. Never give a detention to a kid who. Well, sorry, never is a strong word. Yeah, but giving a detention to a kid who doesn't understand what they've done is wrong, or disagrees with you about whether what they've done is wrong. It's good in a sense because the detention sends a signal to everybody else that this behaviour is unacceptable, right? But for that kid, it's clearly not going to do anything. It's just going to breed resentment. Yeah. So if a kid like genuinely doesn't get, well, I just didn't understand, so what do you want from my life? Yeah, I didn't understand it. Putting them in detention, but what that means is that the accountability bar is low. Yeah, there's no accountability. And there's also value that I think a lot of kids just don't see the point. They think that homework is something that teachers do because it's part of their job, and their parents will complain, and there's a policy, and it just needs to get done. And I think both these things are a big problem. And one of the ways to kill those two birds with one stone is about integrating the homework with the classwork. So, for example, if you use a do now that's based off questions from the homework, and you're explicit about the fact that you're going to do a do now based on the homework. You're explicit about the fact that I'm doing this because the homework's important, and I want you to see that if you do the homework properly, you do better in class, and I'll be so proud of you because you'll turn into a brilliant scientist. So what you're doing is you're showing them the value by feeding it into class, right? And you then also are raising accountability because what you're saying, and this is key, if you're saying to a kid that you're going to take questions from the homework and put them in the do now, if they get the do now wrong, it shows whatever they did, they didn't do the homework properly. Proof's in the pudding here. Yeah, you say, look, guy, you're telling me you did the homework. Sure, fine, I get it. Yeah, but you couldn't do the do now. Something's going wrong. I'm going to hold you to account for it. This is what we're going to do. Doesn't necessarily mean a detention. You might say, we keep kids behind. We give them a laptop. We say, show me how you do your homework. Let me help. Yeah, I want you to do better in class. I give you the homework so that you can do better in class. It's clearly not working. Let me help. Let me see what you're doing. And you do all of that through integration. And I've given you a 5-minute précis. I could spend hours talking about how to do this. We've just written a document for Carousel called Retrieving Better, which goes into this, quite deeply. We give webinars about this kind of stuff because it's difficult to get right. But when you do, you are bawling because the kids get that the homework and the classwork are one, and that they kind of mutually enforce each other.
So, couple of just questions or points on this. I think the first one, that kids not knowing the purpose of homework is a massive one. I'm a bit obsessed with this. Even the do now, kids not knowing why we bother with the do now, or it's a big one, isn't it? Because we kind of assume that they know or they'll take it seriously, but unless they know the purpose of it, it's really problematic. My question was though, does this only work if the kids? So imagine you're a child and you've tried your you've genuinely tried your homework and you genuinely got stuck on it. There's got to be kind of an avenue for them to go down to get some support. I assume that's a kind of a bit of a prerequisite for this to work.
Yeah. But I would expect if a kid turns up and they've not done a homework because they didn't understand it, and I didn't get an email, I'll hold them to account.
Right. Okay.
It's not good enough.
Yeah. That's good. Okay. And have you seen results from this? This seemed to work in terms of the kids taking the homeworks more seriously. Has participation rate of homework gone up and stuff?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we set one homework. Well, each class gets at least one quiz a week, and I get 95% completion and to a good standards. It took a long time. It took months, but no, months, weeks, half a term, maybe a bit longer.
And if a teacher's looking to implement this, well, what are some of the key things that they've got to get right? Is it, the messaging to kids, I assume, is going to be fairly high up the list?
Yeah, look, it's difficult, and again, I'm not here to advertise Carousel, but you're limited by platform as well. If your homework is just do questions online or whatever, is do questions from a booklet or whatever, and you're not going to be checking them, you're just going to be going over them in class. A lot of kids are going to slip through your net.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. So we built Carousel in certain ways so that it would be easier for people to do stuff like this. So you can look at every student's response and mark them all. You can mark a 15 question quiz from 30 kids in less than 5 minutes, right? It then automatically gives you a display that you can use in class as a do now. It allows you to identify questions that a lot of students found difficult. Identify misconceptions. You can mark them in front of the kids. You can, even if a homework's not due, you can use the questions as your do now. You put them up on your whiteboard. It allows you to generate a quiz from them. So we built it so that you could do that. But if you've got a fire and forget program, and by the way, even really good programs, which are adaptive and have really good questions and supporting materials and videos and stuff, there's no feed through into class other than you've done it, you've not done it.
Yes.
And that doesn't, that's going to put a limit. It's going to put a limit on you.
Okay, so it's not just the fact that the kids can get the kind of automated feedback or whatever and know whether they're right or wrong. It's the key is this feed through into class. That's the kind of make or break for this.
Yeah, that is my opinion and my experience.